This Sunday, I preached on why we have a Christian school here. Just a biblical understanding of those things and recognize it. And it's funny because we live in a time where all of a sudden I'm hearing this from all kinds of conservative, religious, somewhat Christian circles of all this. Man, our universities, they're teaching communism. They're teaching socialism. Have you guys heard that? Unless you live under a rock, you've been hearing that, right? That's been making the rounds. But here's my struggle with that. We act as though communism is a greater sin before the Lord than immorality. But we willingly sent our children for years into a den of iniquity that was a college and said it was okay. Right? And all of a sudden, because it's affecting our political views more than our biblical views, everybody's freaking out and going, oh my goodness, oh, these horrible places. And I'm simply saying, but didn't we see that before? Where did we get the idea that suddenly this has become something so much worse? And it is becoming worse, but it's doing so on the foundation that was already there. And everybody's up in arms about it because it's affecting their political views, their patriotic views. And I'm as political and patriotic in my opinions and things as any man, but not more so than the Bible. It will never come at greater elevation in my life than Scripture. Not for 1 second. And yet, that's the struggle. Now that it's affecting our patriotic or our political views, the church is all of a sudden up in arms over the universities and the things going on in their campuses. I'm like, they've been promoting horribly unbiblical, immoral, anti-Christian teaching for a very, very long time. This is not something new. But we're all worried about it all of a sudden. And this is what I want to understand. And I've talked to multiple families who have children of my age. And I've asked them, like, what were you thinking exactly back then? Because I can remember, like, kids from the Christian school heading off into and doing this and that. And I'm going, well, did you prepare them for that? Because I'm not saying that they can't go and receive an education. But at the same time, did you think it through? Did you walk through those things in preparation? Are you confident they're ready? Are you confident they're ready to go and have every adult in their life telling them that God is false and their faith is a weakness and all these things, and that they have all this freedom and their confusion, which we all struggle with confusion at times, but their confusion has an answer and it's a wrong answer? Are they ready for that? Did you think through that, parent? And here's the thing, as I talk to these parents, and this is what out of maybe a dozen conversations, this is the most common answer. It was the common course for everybody, and we never thought about it. That's for moms and dads. And humility saying, we just never thought of it. That's what everybody did. It's how it functioned in the church, outside the church, around the church. It didn't matter. That was what you were doing. You were sending your children off for a secondary education so that they could be successful. Whatever the course may be, that was how everybody was doing it. And so in asking those questions, this became clear. And then my next thought was, well, okay. And this came up several times because of Sunday's message. People said, I never heard that. I never thought about that as a mom or a dad and those things. And what I realized is that's because the church ceased to be the pillar and buttress of the truth, was afraid to speak into cultural, acceptable, and comfortable things. And nobody was saying, hey, did you think this through? Have you looked at what the things there are? Like, I know they're 17, and in the eyes of the world, they're on the verge of being an adult, but you're the mom and dad. Have you assessed, are they really ready? Because that's your role. That's what you carry out. And it's difficult, believe me, because the world's constantly telling them, you're an adult, do what you want. And how do you hang on to them? And I'm regularly dealing as a pastor with families stressing through these things with 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 25, 28, 30, 35-year-olds that are saying, I'm going to do what I want to do. And everyone's going, well, what do we do with that? At this point, pray. At this point, pray. Because they're not in your home anymore. Because they are out in the world. And they are pursuing those things. But God is able. God's greater than the world. Pray. Continually pursue. But for you all that have children still in the home, hear from people that say, I wish someone would have told us. I wish when they were in diapers and when they were on bottles and when they were so cute but sinful that I was recognizing them in accordance with biblical truth about them and raising them in accordance with those things. Of course, absolutely, with all things we should do that. And this is where we then carry it over into the church where the two work in tandem. Remember earlier I was saying what a blessing it is to a family when they get to come and hear the same thing from the student pastor, from the student leader, that dad's been saying to them all along. And they get to hear the same thing from the ladies at the women's conference that they happen to sit next to at the table that mom's been saying to her all along. Why would we neglect that? And a battle as big and as important as our children's souls. We should not. We must not.